Welcome guys, welcome back to the garage, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute and we'll talk about it progressively in some few videos. Today we'll be mainly focusing on the Rover. We'll be talking about that radio install. I will guide you guys through the steps that I followed to get everything done. The video is kind of truncated because I wanted to show you guys the main part that needs to be trimmed out to have that be a plug and play. So it might seem like I'm doing the video for a day or two, but it's not. It's just a couple of hours. Also, I'm going to discuss the install kit, what's inside of the box. I'm going to talk about what you need, which pretty much is patience. Pretty much is a video like this. I don't know if there've been some online or not. You will need a set of Torx. You will also need a Phillips head screwdriver. It's not about how fast you can do it, it's about how accurate you can do it. So let's go ahead and buckle up. Let's go. Alright, so there goes your box. Pretty sizable box. They give you a screwdriver, they give you one prying tool. On top of that, they give you some screws, they give you some clips, and that's pretty much what you have as far as tools are concerned. Make sure you get yourself this deal right here. You would need a set of Torx like this. I added this, it's from Harbor Freight, and I have my light just in case it takes too long, which it shouldn't. Now, in the box, this is pretty much what you get, to the exception of this bucket right here. I mean, I can send you the bucket if you want, but I digress. What you get is, you get the connection cord right here. With you get your Wi-Fi cable, you get your GPS antenna, you get your button adaptation, you have two USB port with your radio, and you have your microphone that you have to run around the car. You also have this piece, which is pretty much the mounting bracket for the glove box, and you get this circuit board that goes on the back of your radio, and that you will have to swap from the radio itself. We're primarily working on the passenger side. You have to remove, I'm going to remove the cover here on the side, and I'm going to clear out what I have in this. To get that done, I'm going to have to pull this out, and I may have to put the phone down, but I have to pull this out so I can access this panel here. And I'm going to put it here between the vent and the piece here, and I'm gonna try to pull it back out like that. It should come straight out, so make sure you have it removed all the way till there. Come straight out. So I'm gonna remove that. It's hard to do with one hand. So that's out. Prior installs, I did that when I was doing some prior installs, so you have to be careful with this pillow as well when you're taking this out and when you're putting it back. So error number one. Now, me personally, I didn't use this for a whole lot of things. A lot of people do, so if you do, you have to seriously think about what you're going to do, because down here you have some space to put some few things. Like, you don't need a climate control storage in your car, but if you do, you might want to consider it. But this is gonna go, and to get that done, we're gonna have to go ahead and suppress that. We're going to use a T20. I don't know if it's gonna zoom out. There you go. It's a T20. Okay, that's what we're gonna use for this bolt and that bolt there. Go back in here, double check. You lift the vent here and you pull to slide it towards you. You see how it's gonna move out. You have to be gentle, and literally with one hand you can remove that. So after you've removed your vent, this piece is a single piece. You have to pry it out. So all you have to do is come, and you can use your prying tool, you stick it on there, and then you just pry this out. You just have to make sure that when you pry it out, you don't disconnect it. Okay, so that is your connector right there. We have to remove that to go ahead and reveal these additional two screws. So those were your T30s. Okay, we use our little T30 here, and we'll take 1, 2, we'll take 3, and we have the 4th one down here. Okay, this one right here. Okay, so you have those 4 that you have to remove. So make sure that you either put something here or you put something here to prevent this from closing up. Otherwise, if it closes, it's gonna be a headache. Once this is removed, remember to make sure to prevent that glove box from closing. You have a connector that's behind the shield here, and it's a pinch and pull connector right there for the glove box to be able to operate the latch. So you press down and then you pull back. All of them have been put on. You can see here they all put on, removed. We see our LVDS connector, we have our key, we have GPS, we have 4G, and we have the SIM card slot that's somewhere up there. Hopefully the SIM card works this time. I had some issues with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start putting up my connectors here, and I will make sure I also connect the other side that goes to the car, so it's just a plug and play from there. Another thing you want to do when you're at this stage is these clips are the one that you're going to use here, here on the different spots there where you're going to click your radio inside of the mount. When you're dealing with these clips, you got to make sure they're not all the same size. Okay, I'm going to show you here this one, for example. See how it's floating? Okay. By default, you can also go ahead and press out the inner part of the pins. You can press them out inward so it can be tight on that gap as well. Both of these antennas, I'm gonna mount them on the passenger side on the metal piece. They do have a little bit of magnet, so I'm gonna show you which part of the frame I use to mount them on. I'm just gonna pull this on the side, pull them up, and you can see the type of clips that you have there. Do the same thing here. We'll have to also remove that trim piece here. Pretty much you see the delineation here, so you can put your hand back down there and then you can try to pry it out. So I'm going to put it here, and you can hear the clip, and when it opens up, if you have a prying tool, you can put it here and then pry it back out. So I'm just using my head, and you have to be gentle so you don't crack none of the clips. So just take your time and be patient. Pull it on the top. You can see didn't break anything. You have one there, one here, one here. So just be gentle when you're pulling them out. It's not that hard. And you can see I have one piece that stayed in the frame, in the metal frame, so I'm gonna use my pliers to pinch it like this, and then I can pull it back out by wiggling it on the side. And from there on, let's see if I can add some light. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, since I'm removing, I can use my gun. Usually while you're tightening them back up, you want to use go ahead and use your screwdriver so you don't jam it in there too bad. Now we have our other 4 screws for the screen. Okay, and those are T20s as well. Now you have this piece on this side. It's gonna come out. It's the connector right there. It's a pinch and pull. So it's kind of tough doing this with one hand. I'm gonna try. Pinch and pull right there. If I can do it with one hand, guys, you guys can definitely do it with the video playing in the back. Now, layer number 3, the screws for the screen. So you can see you have 4. They're right here, the black ones again, T20s. Those 4 out. When you have that removed, Now you have all your connectors back here, and you can see, since I have an AB with the rear entertainment that has the CD, see it's total separate unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect all of this, make sure I transfer the cords where they go, and we should be golden. With the radio being removed out of the car, you have 4 T8, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Both of my hands, I've been able to pry that up. As you can see, there you go, it's pried up, and then from there you just slide the piece out, slide it back and lift it up. Disconnect that on this side. That's the side that you want. All right, so this is the side that we need to disconnect it. This is our connector. Couple of things. This is the back of the radio that we removed, lay it down flat. That's our connector. This is our adapter. Make sure when you look, you will be able to see the side that has that's gold plated. That's the side that needs to be connected. Okay, the side that is all black is the side that goes on top. So this is our connector. The gold plated side is going to go face down, and then the clamp is going to come back on top and clamp it. So I'm going to try to see if it focuses right there. Okay, that is how you want it to fit prior to you pressing on the clamp down to shut the, I'm going to try with one hand to shut that down. I'm going to press it down, make sure it doesn't bite on the side of the circuit, and with that being clamped down, it's kind of how it's going to look. But you make sure you fit the square indentation that's there. That square indentation that's ahead has to fit inside of there without any issues, and then you clamp everything down, and then you go ahead and screw everything back up as far as those 4 screws that we took out. All right, so that's the last screw. Everything is mounted back. This is the back of our radio. That's our connector, and that one goes on the back. So you have to cut, okay? You have to cut those areas, and I use a hot knife, guys. I use a hot knife that I bought in my kitchen, and that my partner is gonna be fired about, but I come clean, I confess. It was me. You have to cut pretty much extra space here for this little piece to fit. And pretty much what I'm talking about is, after you've connected everything here, and I'm going to connect everything and I'll show you, you will see that when you push it back, it kind of hits on the plastic. It used to hit on the plastic, and it wouldn't allow you to screw these pieces in the front when it came to this mount here. So let me show you real quick what I mean. Never believe it. My plug and play, it might not fit straightforward, so you can hear it tap on the back end. So it's aligned, but it's not touching. So you're gonna have to scrape or cut or something, at least one side, one of those sides there, so that the thing can go further back. And I've already checked, so it's none of the wires that are touching it. It's just touching that rubber there. You can even see the little scratches that it does from touching it on the back end. All right, so we had to do the trimming on the back end there, like I showed you earlier. And ultimately, you can see it's a little bit still slanted, so you have to do some trimming here too on the edge. You're gonna have to cut this a little bit in to allow the depth of the brackets to go flush further back in. It's not too bad as it was before. At least I could screw it in there. It's much better, but that is one of the problems that I came across. All right, so as I change mine, you can see I have the adapter bracket that was placed right there, and that's pretty much where I have to go ahead and clip and press this tabs to put this control panel in there. I'm going to remove those 4 so I can access this and the additional cords that are on the back of that, and it should be able to release this. Our connector is this one right here. I'm going to plug the one from my harness in there, and I'll plug the one from the car on the back side of my harness so I can split it. Alright, when you plug in the harness they gave you, make sure you take your time and you finesse it all the way in there, otherwise it's not going to line up pretty good. Let's see if I can add the flash. So I plug this one here, and I plug the other side on this pad. I'm going to fish my way in there and slide that pad on the back side there. You have to finesse your way in there, but you can see the little white part. That's the other piece of it, because we got to make sure this side is clear. I have the other two connectors here for the radio harness, and then I have this one here as well. So we're golden with those connectors. Made sure I routed this wire, which was a secondary wire from that deal. Make sure I route it here so it's coming out straight. I'm gonna go ahead and plug all of this back where it belongs, and then go from there. Alright, so I'm gonna mount it. Make sure I get the click. Now this is the finesse part. Alright, so you know, if the installation don't go into the night, then you didn't do nothing. Anyway, that is my second controller that I connected back. So I pushed the connector here, and I disconnected this one, which is the glove box connector, pulled it out, and then I stuck that in there the best way I could. Make sure you don't mess with some of the vents that are in there or the cord. And here you have this little cord here, that guy right there. Okay, it's like a temp sensor, so make sure you don't cut it. I'm gonna go ahead and I will connect this plate back on there. I'll make sure I pass the wire back out, and I go ahead and I connect my plate, and I will take my T30 screws, and I'm gonna go ahead and get those T30s back to secure the plate so we can mount everything on this side. Just a reminder, I put one of my antenna there, routed the wire here, put the second one all the way back there on the metal, and then routed the wire here as well, and move on to the next step. We have this screw in, that screw in, that screw in, and this screw right here in. Okay, we're golden. This we didn't touch. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll connect this back to the glove. From here on out, you just mount this piece back on there. That's your buttons. You mount your buttons. When your buttons are mounted, you already have your back plate. You go ahead and you connect the back of your radio to the different spots that I showed earlier where we put the clips. Everything is connected. You want to start from this direction, press the clips. You have two here, two here, two here, that goes on the bracket, two more here that go on the back of the bracket as well. And you have the two little screws that are at the edge of the radio here. They're right there behind the vent. You put in the two screws that were given to you by the manufacturer. Make sure you secure those before you go ahead and put your vent, mount your side, and we are golden. Don't forget to leave the plastic. You cannot take the plastic off. If you take the plastic off, you're gonna ruin the screen. No, I'm just kidding. But that is the business. So that was the install process for the video for the most part. It was kind of truncated because I didn't show you guys how I mounted all the panels back and all that stuff, which I assume that you should know by now. I was just keying on the length of the video. I think we went above 12 13 minutes, and that's kind of the max length of time that I like to have my videos done for. So pretty much from the spot the video stops, everything else you just work your way back. You just put the screws back in place, and you just put the once it's all said and done, it's gonna look just like this. And let's see if we can move baby Jesus up the top here. It's gonna look just like that. Okay, and everything is done. So with that being said, that was the install for the radio. Overall, the process, if I have to grade the process from 1 to 10, I would say the process is about a 7, unfortunately, because some of the trimming that you have to do, because of some of the patience and the accuracy that's needed, especially when taking off parts and not scratching this and not scraping that, and the number of screws overall that you have to take out. and also the tools that are involved. So I'll say it's about a 7. When it comes down to the time it will take, like I said earlier, it'll probably take you between an hour and a half, 2 hours. Again, the goal is not to be fast. The goal is to be accurate with your install, is to have it look clean and, you know, serve the purpose that you have intended it to serve. The last thing I was gonna say was make sure you set it up properly, and that is the most important part, and I'll talk about it a little bit more on my next video, how to set it up properly, how to make sure that there's some little features and shortcuts there that you have updated. And let me know if anything comes up and you have more questions. Drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It's always a pleasure checking out. Thanks. This beauty, for some reason, it always looks at an angle. It always looks like it's inappropriate, like it's like in your face, but it kind of is, but then it's not.